Hey everybody, do not take it seriously here today on the Cigarette Burns. We are reviewing La fabuleux destin d'Amelie Poulain, or in the English title, Amelie. It was done in 2001. Director Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Not exactly correct on pronouncing that, but I'm getting closer at it. The main actress is Audrey Tautou, is how it's pronounced. She was also in The Da Vinci Code. And then Matthew Kassovitz, which I've never seen before. This film is amazing. And amazing doesn't even cover how, like, it's not even the proper word for how good of a film it is. It was one of those films that you start off watching it and you wonder if you're going to finish it to the end just because of a few things in the beginning. You get into the storyline and it's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's a modern day dreamlike sequence throughout the film that really works well, I think, only because of a few things. The first thing would be the cinematography, the way that they shot the angles, like when she's skipping rocks in the canal, and they show a long distance shot of her skipping the rock, and then they kind of come up close to where she's at, and then they do an overhead view, and it really puts you in the scene with the character. It makes you want to be there with her, or makes you want to be her, for that matter. And I think Audrey just really, she was the character. She brought the character out to the screen instead of it just being a character on paper. She made it her own. She made it her, and she brought herself to the screen, and it's just beautiful to watch. The storyline is basically kind of a dysfunctional childhood. Her parents both have little quirks about them, which honestly, whose parents don't? So it's very relatable in that sense. But they also do, relating back to the cinematography, they also do a balanced effect. They show the dislikes of the dad, they show the dislikes of the mom, and then they show the likes that they have. And it's kind of funny because it's a similar like. Like, for instance, they show that the dad takes all of his items out of a toolbox and he cleans the toolbox, and then he puts them all back in, and that's what he likes to do. And the mom takes all of her items out of her purse and cleans everything and organizes it and then puts it all back in, and it balances their dislikes to their likes. You know, the fact that the mom has nerves that are kind of shot, and the dad doesn't hug his daughter because he just has issues with showing affection. The second thing that I noticed in this film, it also has the Hard Knocks version of how she grew up, so it balances the good with the bad, and it's just great. But there is a camera angle that they use when she is going through the marketplace, and there's a blind man that always goes through the marketplace, and he walks through and he can smell all the smells, he can hear everything going around, but he can't see what's going on. In an effort to make others around her happy, she grabs a hold of his arm and leads him through the marketplace kind of at a rapid pace, and just explaining to him what people are doing, and that there's, like, in the one instance, there's a baby looking at a dog who's looking at the rotisserie chickens, and she's telling him this image, and it's just such a vivid image that, you know, you can see on his face that he gets it. Like, he has this big grin on his face, much like I do. And, I mean, it's just wonderful. And the events that take place for her to change her entire life around to being a person who wants to make everyone else around her happy. Like, she feels that she has to show others what love is, because she hasn't found it yet. She doesn't know if it's because she doesn't understand it or if it's just not there for her, but she kind of sets herself on a mission to return something that was lost and make others around her as happy as she possibly can, without interfering too much. And she just succeeds on so many levels throughout this film in doing that. She meets a love interest, and she doesn't realize she's met him yet, and this is the part where I'm probably going to cry again. Yes, I watched this movie all the way through, and I bawled like a baby at the end. I will be the first one to completely admit that. I haven't done that in a long time with a movie. But this isn't just a movie. This is something that once you watch it, it's a life-changing event. I mean, if you don't see everything in this film the way it was meant to be seen, and you don't understand what's going on with the cinematography, the dialogue, the way that things play out, you know, I can understand if you don't get everything in it, but watch it again if you only watched it once and you don't agree with me on this statement, but this film for me was one that literally it's life-changing, and the main reason why is because once I got done watching this film, and I watched it with the English subtitles, because I wanted the inflection of their voices. I didn't want something dubbed over, or want to watch something dubbed over. That doesn't work for me. I wanted to know what their emotions were. I can read pretty quickly, so I can glance down, scan what they're saying, look back up, and catch everything going on in the frame. And it's just beautiful. I mean, the way they express how they feel and what they say, and it's poetry in words. Obviously, it's a romantic language to begin with. Amelie, or Audrey, if you want to call her that, shows you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is something that can and will happen. You just have to be willing to put yourself out there to find it. And it just, like I said, it's just beautiful, you know, and it really changed something in me. Her facial expressions, the way she says things, and how the camera angles were shot were the key points to this entire film. The dialogue was there, yes, the dialogue was beautifully done, it was just wonderfully delivered, but you pair that with cinematography, you pair that with the actors and actresses that are playing off of Amelie during the entire film, and it's just, I think it's a masterpiece. I honestly do. I absolutely love this film. And I had only rented it, so I'm going to be buying it here rather quickly because I think I found my new film. It puts you in her universe, and there aren't many films that do that. There aren't many films that enthrall you so much that you're staring at the screen and watching, and you can't help but imagine yourself right by the character's side, going through everything they're going through, feeling the emotions that they're feeling, and wondering at the end if the guy that you're interested in is going to be on the other side of that door. And again, here come the tears. It's a great film. It really is, and I cannot get over how some people can say they don't like this film. I'm like, I don't want to cry in front of you guys, but I'm doing it now. Anyways, without spoiling it, if you haven't seen it, please don't watch this next part because I have to explain the tears. The entire film, she's helping everyone around her find love and find happiness. And she suddenly realizes that she may not get that opportunity if she doesn't do something about it, but at the same time, she doesn't want to do anything about it because she's worried that it's going to be fake or it's going to be something that isn't what she wanted it to be. And she finds out through the people that she helped that she only needs to take that leap and find out for sure whether or not it's there, and if she doesn't take that leap, she'll never know. And, excuse me. Here's the spoiler. So fast forward this. But she finds out at the very end that the guy that she thought wasn't going to be there for her after all the work that she put in to find out how he is, she rushes out the door to catch him because she thought that she had lost him, and she opens the door and he's standing right there in front of her. And that moment alone is why the tears. That moment alone was amazing. I wanted to get out of my chair and stand up and just clap because you don't expect that to happen, and the way that they filmed it, it prepared you for the worst, but at the same time you wanted that to happen so badly that when it did, it was just tears of joy, basically. The tears. If you have not seen this movie, please go watch it. Honestly, this is a beautifully shot film. It's wonderful dialogue, poetry in motion. The only other thing I wanted to say was I covered the first two things that I thought were great about the film. The third was that they introduced an idea into the film that I thought was interesting, and that was one of her neighbors that she tried to help spent 40 years repainting a Renoir painting and couldn't get it right until the end of the film. I'm crying again. He had to see Amelie's happiness to understand why he couldn't see the middle of the painting. And he finally realizes this, and that's when he does the good thing for her in telling her to jump, to take that leap and go out there and get what you want, and don't wait for somebody to come after you. You've got to take that first step and just be brave while doing it, you know. And it's a great film. I don't cry easily over films, and I'm still crying, but this film is beautiful. It is literally just one of the most amazing films I've ever seen, and like I said, I'm going to be adding this to my collection very soon, and I'm going to make sure I have extra tissues when I watch it. So that's my review for Amelie. I hope you guys enjoyed it, minus the tears, but it's that powerful of a film. It honestly is. So if you haven't seen it, please go out, rent it, watch it, borrow it from a friend. It is a beautifully, wonderfully done film.